Hello again, my friends. It's your bestie, Len. It is a beautiful day in sunny Southern California, and we are hanging out in my 1986 Toyota Dolphin RV, which I spent nearly the last year lovingly refurbishing and bringing back from the dead, I guess you could say. Recently, I set out on my very first long road trip in the Dolphin, not really knowing if it would even make it to my destination because it is ancient. It is 40 years old. This journey actually turned out to be a pretty stressful and hair-raising experience, which I, of course, documented so that I could share it with you here today. So now I would like to present to you my first ever cruise in the Toyota Dolphin. But first, a little backstory, just so you can see how I ended up on this journey in the first place. Hope you enjoy! I had just gone through some pretty devastating life changes and needed to switch things up. Also, winter in the Pacific Northwest had become terribly depressing for me at this point, so I set a goal to spend the next winter in a warmer climate. I needed to clear my head, do a hard reset on my life, and work through some grief. I wanted to go in a completely new direction, and I'd always wanted to try living on the road out of an RV for fun and adventure, so I made that my new goal. This type of lifestyle would also give me a reason to downsize my possessions and simplify my life. In my head, I was picturing myself with a 1980s Toyota Dolphin, but was struggling to find one in decent shape that fit my limited budget. As fate would have it, a close friend of mine happened to have one just sitting in her backyard that she was willing to part with. It hadn't moved in years, the interior had been leaking for quite a while, and it had become a home for a variety of insects and rodents.
But let's take a look at the inside. I think it's doable. Like, it's struggled, but see, it's been leaking here, and it's just been collecting moisture in here big time. And there's been rats or mice, but I don't know, dudes. I think it could be cool.
After throwing in some gas and a new battery, she fired right up on the very first turn of the key.
So kill. Listen to her purr. She cruises, got her out, turned around. Just gotta put some air in these tires. So killer.
A little air in the tires, and I was able to drive her home that day. There was a ton of cleaning and sanitizing to do, and the interior was wet and needed to be completely dried out. There was wood rot in multiple areas, and it needed new tires and some mechanical work. The roof leaked and needed to be scraped clean and resealed, and there were leaks in the plumbing.
This sucks. But whatever. It needs to be done. It's going to take forever.
It was a lot, but this was just the kind of project I needed to keep my mind off of the sadness that had recently befallen me. More on that in another video. I spent the next 8 months working on it nearly full time. It was mid-February when I brought the vehicle home, and I had committed myself to a week-long house and dog sitting job for some friends of mine in San Diego, California later in the year. The job was in the month of November over the Thanksgiving holiday, so my goal was to have the Dolphin livable and road-ready in time to get there. As the date slowly drew near, I started having some pretty big anxiety about whether this nearly 40-year-old RV could make the trip without leaving me stranded by the side of the road in the middle of nowhere. It was a 1,300-mile drive, and I would have to cross or drive around the Siskiyou Mountains in Oregon in the nasty late fall weather. Then I would also have to climb the infamous Grapevine just north of LA, and I really had no idea if this little engine was up for the task. Partially due to the Pacific Northwest weather, the work I had to do took much longer than expected, and it wasn't until early September that I was able to start cruising the Dolphin around on road trips and campouts to test it out and see if any problems would arise. At around this time, I started sorting my belongings and packing the RV with only what I needed to live in it full time. Space was of course an issue, but so was weight. I couldn't afford to put any more strain on the tiny engine by lugging around more stuff than I absolutely needed. Figuring out what's coming with and what's staying. There's my storage unit out there, and it's pretty packed. There were still some bugs to work out here and there, but the bulk of the work had been finished. Now that I had more free time, I started going out more often. Things got crazy quickly, and the next couple of months turned into a blur of partying, incredible new connections, intense fun, and a serious lack of sleep. It looked something like this. 2.5 months later, my deadline had arrived and the party came to an abrupt end. It was a sad moment and I was feeling a little unprepared for the journey, but I was still committed to my house-sitting job and my goal of leaving the Pacific Northwest on a solo trip for the winter months. The day was here and I started packing up the last of my things. Getting ready to leave this morning, got the bike rack on, and getting things packed up to head out on my first journey in the Dolphin. Okay, about to take off on the first journey in the Dolphin. I'm heading to San Diego from Washington State. Just fired it up, warming up. Had like a very tearful goodbye earlier. That's why I'm wearing sunglasses, because my eyes are swollen from no sleep and crying like a baby. And gonna go get some gas. There's like some gnarly storm warnings on the coast, so we'll see how that works out for me. A quick note, I wasn't closely watching the weather, so little did I know this wasn't just some random storm on the horizon. This was a bomb cyclone that was about to wreak havoc from Washington to Northern California. Basically exactly where I was about to drive. 1,300 miles. Hopefully she'll make it. I know she will. She's fine. All right, peace out. I was a little nervous, but also really excited to be on my way. But as I prepared to leave, the weather started taking a sharp turn. I didn't get far before it got really ugly, and after only a few hours, it was very apparent that I'd need to get off the road. I know you can't tell from this, but the winds are blowing so hard, they're actually twice have almost like blown me off the road. So we're gonna be pulling over at the next rest stop because it's a little too hairball. You can hear like the whole back of the Dolphin is blowing all over the place, just rattling. My first day, it took me 4 hours to travel a measly 140 miles. Toyota Dolphins are notoriously slow, especially when climbing hills, but the weather had reduced my speed to a sad, slow crawl. Day 2, just woke up. I'm in between Olympia and Portland, and the weather was too crazy last night. It was like actually kind of blowing me off of the road. The winds were so strong and couldn't see anything. So whipped into a rest stop. It is cold as hell. I mean, it's not like snowing or anything, but I had to totally bundle up and sleep with like gloves and hat and stuff last night, because if I'm not plugged in, currently I don't have any propane action going on in here. I don't have a tank hooked up and stuff yet, so I have no way to turn on a heater unless I'm plugged into power. So from here, I'm heading to Portland and then to the coast, and hopefully I can cruise the coast, because there's some storms either hit or are coming. I have to look at the weather still, but it is still like pretty nasty looking out. But nothing like last night. Last night was crazy. That's what's going on. I gotta do some dishes and clean some stuff up and
get back to cruising. All right, peace out.
Day 2 wasn't much better. I drove for nearly 3.5 hours and only made it 160 miles before extreme weather kicked up and forced me to pull over again. This time I found a relatively cheap RV park to stay in, so at least I could plug in and have heat.
Day 2 of my journey to SoCal in the Dolphin, and I didn't get very far today before the weather once again pushed me off the road. I pulled into a little RV park to wait it out, and it's still raining. It's been like hours that I've been sitting here now, and I'm just like watching Friday the 13th movies, and we'll see how it goes tomorrow. I'll talk to you later. Okay, so now it's the next morning. Yesterday was a wash. Weather's looking a little bit better out on the coast today. I'm making my bougie matcha and a turkey bagel, and then I'm gonna dump the tanks and we will cruise. Oh, also I've got this bottom of the barrel champagne to give me a huge headache should I decide to just pull over and get wasted instead. Oh my god, dudes, this smells ripe. Finally made it to the coast. Looking super fresh. Although there is a storm still brewing. The Dolphin is kicking ass.
Day 3, I drove for 6 hours before the storm came back again and forced me to take shelter in a Walmart parking lot for the night. The winds were so severe, I thought at multiple times throughout the night that my RV might actually be blown over. The constant winds, heavy rains, and rocking kept me up for most of the night.
I am at the parking lot of a Walmart in Crescent City, California. The weather got horrific last night, like way worse. Here's what it looked like last night. Basically stayed up all night, and now the storm has finally started to chill out. The 101 highway is my only way out of here, and earlier this morning there was a closure on it, so I'm just waiting for that to open up, because my only other option right now at this point is to just sit here and get day drunk on super terrible champagne. And future me is not going to want that. Hopefully the road will open up this afternoon at some point and I can cruise. That's what's up. All right. So after the storm, I did a full check of everything and I found no leaks anywhere, which was cool except for one little spot. So the shower currently, I have not fixed it yet. This is the one area I haven't worked on to repair. So it's still all torn apart right here, but it's all sealed up outside. But you can see right here, I got some moisture. Like, it's wood rot, yeah, but there's actual moisture where it's really dark right there. So I went outside to look around, and outside I found this dude right there. And it seems like nothing at all, but this has totally happened to me before. All it takes is the tiniest little pinhole when you get a super massive rainstorm like last night, and that's all it takes. Driving through the Redwoods, and now my goddamn brake light came on, which don't know exactly what that means, but I know that it sucks.
What I did not know at this moment was that my brakes were on the verge of a catastrophic failure, and that from here forward, I was riding on a wing and a prayer.
No visibility, nothing but rain and wind and fog and flooded roadways and washed out spots and massive long climbs and long descents. This absolutely eats butthole.
Day 4, I was making a little better time, but as you just heard, the storm returned and everything got dark and treacherous. In the rain and darkness, I missed an important turn, and this added even more time and more steep climbs to my situation. By the time I realized I had gone the wrong way, it was too late to turn around, so I decided to just push on through the storm to the next town.
I am parked in Santa Rosa, California, after the most hair-raising and terrifying drive of my life through the mountains in the storm. Finally got to Santa Rosa, parked on some little back street in some little neighborhood. I've blacked out the place and dimmed the lights so that I will remain inconspicuous because I don't need the cops knocking on the door. And then I popped a bottle of the trash champagne to take the edge off. I'm gonna drink this champagne and then crash out. All right, you guys, I love it. Update. It's a few hours later or something. A couple hours later. No, it's a few hours later for sure. And update is I'm canned. Straight up. Hammered. Which is fine. Everything's cool. We opened up the bottle of champagne and then found a little bit of vodka down there too. So my first inclination right now at this point would be to leave from here and go out and find some kind of a dive bar or hole to go into and see what kind of we can get into. But I have a 9-hour drive tomorrow to get to San Diego, my destination. So that was my update. It's not much of an update. I'm not going to go out and find some to get into. Instead, I'm going to crawl into bed and I'm going to get up early and we're going to finish our trek. This is our trek, you and me together. This is our trek to San Diego. All right, I will see you. No, I need to stop saying all right all the time, right? Okay, this is, all right. See, it just happens. I don't even mean to. So, I'll see you in the morning, and then you and I are cruising to San Diego together. Got it? Love it. Good night, baby. Here we are, still in Santa Rosa. Got up, it's about 8 a.m. Here's where we stayed last night. I swear to God, you guys, it has not stopped raining for 4 solid days on my entire journey. And I'm so over it. Way over it. Okay, we're back on the road. Finally got to I-5 and some dry weather. Your boy got a little bit intoxicated last night, but I'm feeling good. Didn't wake up with a hangover. Luckily, I'm happy that I made the choice not to go out, wander around and look for some weird bar to go into and meet freaks. Met a cool dude this morning. His name's Pete. He's a pirate. This is what he looks like. We hung out for a minute. It's pretty kick-ass. Just cruising 60 out in the middle of nowhere, about 300 miles from LA.
I had made it past the Siskiyous and through the storm, and now it was time to see if the Dolphin could make it over the Grapevine without overheating or breaking down.
Outside of LA, climbing the Grapevine right now. The Dolphin is making it. She won't go any faster than 35 miles an hour.
but she is not overheating. I just passed like 5 different trucks overheated by the side. This is stressing me out. This is such a long, grinding climb. It is the worst. I was super stressed, but made it through the Grapevine. No overheating, no tripping. That stupid brake light has still been on this whole time. I'll figure that out later. Made it to LA, next stop, San Diego. And God, I swear, as soon as I get here, I'm just like driving the Dolphin way more aggressively. I never drive her like this. I think that she likes it. Kinda into it. Oh my God. So I finally made it to San Diego. The Dolphin totally kicked ass. I am so tired and so exhausted, but I'm here. And probably the little dog that I am watching is freaking out. So let's go in and greet her. And then it is bedtime and I'm probably going to sleep for days. What a little nugget. Now that she's calmed down a little bit, it's been a couple minutes. I want to introduce you guys to Ula. That's Ula. She's a kook. Okay, it is bedtime. Now. It's like 10 a.m. Like 10 a.m. I will not be getting out of bed today. I'm actually dead. I've passed away. That's all. Good night. I was totally exhausted, but so happy that my 40-year-old RV had made the trip without any major issues. 1,313 miles to be exact. My credit card took a punishing though. Total spent on fuel for this trip was a whopping $607. Luckily, my brakes held out and I didn't end up dying. I knew they felt weird, but they had somehow passed a safety check before leaving, so I didn't think much about it. Once again, my credit card took a spanking. My total in brake repairs upon arrival was $2,400, but the difference in performance is like night and day from before. In a little less than 1 year, the Dolphin went from a slowly rotting, rain-soaked relic to my cozy new tiny home on wheels. It was a lot of really hard work, but I'm really happy that I never strayed from my goal and got to see it all the way through. So what will I do now? I don't know. Maybe I'll be over my new lifestyle in a few months, or maybe I'll do this for the rest of my life. To be honest, I don't have a clue where my life is going next, and at least for now, I'm totally cool with that. Stay tuned to my channel if you're interested in coming along. Maybe my next trip will be to your town and you and I will meet up and party.